First time to the 8th floor? Just one? Well, welcome up to the 8th floor.
Twice now.
Welcome back. You're old veterans now.
And I didn't break any computers or anything, so it's a good thing.
That's why we let you come back.
Okay.
I'm Scott Ertl, and what we're going to try to do today is introduction to Photoshop. And the way I kind of put this class together, project-based, we were talking about that before. We're going to build a poster today for a spring carnival.
All right.
And in the course of doing that, we're going to try to touch as many things within Photoshop as we can. So it's kind of that survey. Hit all the tools, and we don't get to spend a whole lot of time on each tool, but enough to see all the tools, what do they do and how do they work. So that at the end of the day, you'll have this fancy little poster to take with you, and you can send over to the printer and go home and put it on your refrigerator with a magnet. Here's what I did at school today. So, that's kind of the premise of what we're going to do today. Why don't you flip over to the table of contents, and I'll kind of give you an idea of where we're heading. Also, if you look on page 1, at the bottom of page 1, is kind of our attempt at the Spring Carnival poster that we're going to try to pull together. Yours may look exactly like that or completely different than that, but that's kind of the sample that I went with. The clowns, everybody's always scared by the clowns. It's kind of weird looking. But it kind of broke this class down into 2 parts. The morning piece of this class, what we'll do is we'll go through kind of some of the basic editing type techniques, photo techniques, cropping, sizing, recoloring, working with resolutions, those kinds of things. And then we'll also work with layers, drawing objects, text, all those kinds of things in the kind of the front part of the class. So at the beginning of it, we're going to pull pieces together to build our poster. And actually, we're going to end up building our poster in the afternoons, where we'll kind of pull all those pieces together. So in getting ready for it, like I said, we'll work with just basic image editing stuff, really kind of the cornerstone of what Photoshop can do. And then we're going to branch out from that, and we'll play with all kinds of fun little odds and ends. Drawing tools, you'll notice on page 1 we make that hokey little stop sign. But in building that hokey little stop sign, we touch layers, we work with drawing objects, we work with text, we work with layer effects, ordering layers, all kinds of odds and ends that are going to ultimately end up with this fancy little stop sign. One of the other things that we'll go through is working with basic selection techniques, and there are literally a dozen different selection techniques. But to change something, modify something, delete something, I have to select it first. And sometimes in a photo, it's hard to select just the piece you want. So that's why I give you kind of an arsenal of tools to select with. And we'll play with a handful of them, run through some basic selection techniques, and in that we pick up some fun things too, like the clone stamp, which is a real neat tool that'll do all kinds of cool little odds and ends for you. And then kind of the last thing we do to kind of get ready, you'll notice if you look at our title that's there on page 1, it says Spring Carnival. We've actually filled the letters Spring Carnival. You can't really tell because it's small as it is, but with jelly beans. So how to fill text in with an object. So I figured since it was spring, jelly beans being a spring something. So.
That works.
So kind of at that point, we've got all those little parts together. And then the last little chunk that we're going to do, most likely after lunch, is really start to build the poster. And we'll set some background elements. We'll work with filters. And then start building that collage, which is going to get semi-complicated because we're going to have a lot of layers on it and keep things organized and what goes in front of what and resizing and rotating. And
oh boy.
So we hit all these kind of little odds and end pieces at the finish of this to pull together our final poster. And what I try to do there is make sure you guys have plenty of time to piddle. Try out all the things again and kind of come up with your own poster. So hopefully it won't look anything like mine.
I'll be making my poster.
If I did something, can I do the same thing but have it be like a forensic toxicology? I mean, as long as I'm using all the elements you're using.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, it's something I've been really wanting to do, and then I can actually, if I follow through and do the elements.
Oh, yeah,
I don't want to mess you
Go
up.
for it.
I'll do Spring Carnival if you insist.
I don't insist on it. I'm not a big rule guy, so.
Yeah, there you go.
Da 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 da.